The late afternoon sunlight spread its golden warmth over the bustling downtown avenue, where Jake Morrison, a 34-year-old mechanic, made his way home from his automotive repair garage. His gray shirt remained marked with streaks of engine grease, following yet another extended shift repairing vehicles and assisting clients in getting their transportation operational again. Being a sole parent to his 7-year-old daughter Sophie, Jake had established his standing through reasonable pricing and transparent service, frequently extending himself beyond expectation to assist households facing economic hardship. Jake had discovered the importance of compassion through his own challenging circumstances. Following the loss of his wife in an automobile collision 3 years prior, he had confronted the difficulty of parenting Sophie without a partner while maintaining his modest enterprise's survival. The neighborhood had gathered around them throughout those painful weeks, and Jake had always remembered how profoundly those gestures of kindness had mattered when he experienced the deepest confusion and burden. While Jake proceeded along the sidewalk, he detected the distinctive noise of a vehicle's motor fighting to turn over. The successive efforts ending in quiet indicated to him right away that someone was experiencing significant automotive difficulty. His natural responses as both a technician and a considerate community member engaged, and he scanned the area to identify where the issue originated. As Jake continued down the pavement on the opposite side of the road, he spotted an elegant black luxury car with its bonnet lifted and a woman dressed in a Navy professional outfit positioned next to it, her fair hair reflecting the sun's rays as she conversed on her mobile device with clear agitation. Even at this distance, Jake could observe the stress in her stance and how she motioned hopelessly toward the motor compartment. What captured Jake's focus even further was the young girl seated in the front passenger area of the vehicle. She looked to be approximately Sophie's age, dressed in an attractive pink frock with her hair fashioned into pigtails secured with coordinating bows. The youngster was observing her mother with the sort of anxious look that children display when they perceive their parent is troubled about something beyond their ability to remedy. Jake moved across the thoroughfare and approached the automobile with the relaxed assurance of someone who had resolved countless mechanical challenges. The woman glanced up from her telephone conversation as he came closer, and he was impressed by the sharpness in her emerald eyes, despite them being presently dimmed with concern and weariness. "Pardon me," Jake offered courteously. "I couldn't help but observe you're experiencing vehicle problems. I'm Jake Morrison, and I run Morrison Auto Repair, just up the block. Would you object if I examined it?" The woman concluded her call and observed Jake for a beat, obviously considering whether to rely on an unfamiliar person with her costly automobile. "I am Elena Hartwell. I was just contacting a towing service, but they indicated it would be no less than 2 hours before they could arrive here." Jake registered that the young girl in the vehicle was paying close attention to their exchange, her gaze shifting between the two adults with the sharp curiosity that children display when they're attempting to comprehend adult matters. "Well, Elena, before you invest funds in a towing service, why don't I conduct a brief inspection? Occasionally, these issues are less complicated than they appear, and if I can get you operational again, it'll spare you both time and expense." Jake was preparing to refuse when Lily interjected again, her tone carrying that guileless straightforwardness that only children command. "Mommy, perhaps Mr. Jake and his daughter could join us for a meal sometime. That would be a pleasant method to express gratitude." Elena appeared somewhat flustered by her daughter's forward proposal, but Jake could detect something in her demeanor that implied the notion wasn't completely undesirable. "That's very thoughtful of you, Lily," Jake replied softly. "Your mom is likely quite occupied, and I don't wish to intrude." Elena startled him by responding, "Actually, that's not an unfavorable suggestion. I would appreciate the opportunity to prepare dinner for you and Sophie as a genuine expression of thanks. Would this coming Saturday evening suit you?" Throughout the subsequent week, Jake discovered himself anticipating Saturday's dinner more intensely than he had expected. When he and Sophie reached Elena's residence, they encountered a magnificently arranged meal and a comfortable, inviting environment that seemed like something they had been lacking without acknowledging it. Throughout the meal, Jake discovered that Elena was an accomplished corporate attorney who had been parenting Lily independently since her marriage dissolution 2 years before. Like Jake, she had wrestled to maintain equilibrium between work requirements and her daughter's necessities, frequently experiencing herself pulled then between her career obligations and her aspiration to be an effective mother. Sophie and Lily connected immediately, forming bonds over their collective passion for art and their shared comprehension of what it signified to have a single parent. They occupied the evening constructing detailed illustrations together, while the adults conversed about subjects ranging from their children's educational situations to their aspirations and visions for what lay ahead. As the evening approached its conclusion, Lily came to Jake with an illustration she had created. "Mr. Jake, I sketched a picture of you repairing our automobile. Look, that's you and Mommy and me, and we're all appearing joyful." Jake examined the illustration, which depicted 3 simplified figures positioned beside an automobile with large smiles across their faces. "This is wonderful, Lily. Thank you for creating this for me." Lily glanced around to ensure the other adults were occupied with their discussion, then moved nearer to Jake and murmured something that would alter the trajectory of all their existences. "Mr. Jake, I believe you should become my mommy's husband. She's been unhappy for an extended period, but she grins frequently when she converses with you. And Sophie could become my sister, and we could all become a family." Jake felt his respiration pause at the child's pure but meaningful statement. "Lily, that's a very significant choice that adults must consider thoroughly. But I believe your mommy is remarkable, and I'm pleased we're companions." Lily acknowledged gravely, as though she had anticipated this answer, but desired to introduce the concept regardless. "I'll inquire with Sophie about her thoughts as well. Perhaps if we both desire the same outcome, it will materialize." 6 months following, Jake and Elena had truly evolved into far more than companions. Their connection had grown organically through repeated dinners, family excursions, and the progressive understanding that they balance each other in manners neither had anticipated discovering again. Jake had recognized that Elena's intellect and fortitude were equaled by a tenderness and levity that transformed even routine instances into something remarkable. Elena had located in Jake a gentleness and reliability that supplied the foundation she had been pursuing for both herself and Lily. Sophie and Lily had grown indivisible, resembling sisters more than companions, and both youngsters had thrived in the broadened family arrangement that provided them extra affection and security. On a bright Saturday afternoon, precisely 1 year following their initial encounter, Jake presented his proposal to Elena in the identical location where he had repaired her vehicle. Sophie and Lily were both in attendance, having participated in the preparation sequence and enthusiastically anticipating the instant when their families would formally merge into one. Elena, Jake expressed as he lowered himself beside the car that had united them. A year ago, I believed I was simply assisting a stranger with a mechanical difficulty. What I found was that you and Lily were precisely what Sophie and I required to make our family whole. Elena accepted through joyful weeping, while Sophie and Lily celebrated and embraced each other with the contentment of children who had witnessed their most significant desire become a reality. At their matrimony 6 months afterward, both girls functioned as flower attendants, proceeding down the corridor together with expressions that could have illuminated the complete sanctuary. Throughout the celebration, Lily approached Jake with another illustration, this one displaying 4 simplified figures clasping hands beneath a large heart. "Mr. Jake, do you recall when I mentioned that you should marry Mommy?" Jake grinned, reflecting back to that hushed exchange that had initiated him contemplating earnestly about the prospect of love following bereavement. "I recall very distinctly, Lily." Lily beamed with contentment. "I'm quite skilled at understanding what individuals need, aren't I?" Jake elevated her into an embrace, wondering at how this perceptive young girl had recognized what the adults had required duration to uncover. "Yes, Lily, you're exceptional at understanding what individuals need. Thank you for assisting us in becoming a family." As Jake surveyed the celebration at their companions and friends honoring their new commencement, he contemplated how a modest gesture of compassion had resulted in the most precious gift of his existence. He had stopped to repair a stranger's automobile because it represented the proper action to take, never conceiving that in assisting Elena, he would find the love and alliance that would mend his own spirit and create a magnificent future for all 4 of them. Sometimes, Jake thought, the most vital repairs we execute aren't to motors and machines, but to souls and families. And sometimes it takes the perception of children to show adults what love looks like and to remind them that families can be constructed not solely through lineage, but through choice, commitment, and the continuous choice to provide care for one another.